I exist again. And Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Easter, Christmas, Toy Day.
You get it!
Weren't those 12 videos that had nothing to do with the holidays wonderful? Don't you feel all warm and better around the inside after watching them? I know I did. So, to commence the near end of this TPI Christmas event, I thought it would be the most fitting conclusion to do a top 10 for TPI characters in no particular order. Honestly, it's mean to me. Rules first. Only one per show, and each participant must choose their own show to discuss. And we're going through reverse order for remainder videos. We have a lot of segments to get through, so let's get started. Starting with...
Hey everyone, Glascore Games here. I'm going to talk about the OG mean girl of the TPI world, Mr. Pokeguy9's Rapidash. Starting off as a basic mean girl with lots of money, she eventually managed to work her way throughout the game and become an iconic villainess. But what makes her so iconic, I hear you asking? Well, she was always on the outs of the majority. Multiple times throughout the game, but especially during the merge, she was heavily targeted due to her propensity to backstab those who were around her and not in her alliance. Her expert level gameplay made her able to turn allies against each other and always make herself the smaller target. Had she not turned these people against each other, I don't think she would have gone as far as she did. My personal favorite Rapidash moment was at the final 6 when the idol was pulled. Like, yeah bitches, is a line that lives in my head rent-free. No one else is out here doing it like Miss Rapidash. After her main ally was eliminated 5th, her game was basically on thin ice. It was everyone against her and she had nowhere left to run. That is, until she went to Blissey and convinced her that she was not the biggest threat left at the Final 4. She turned Blissey against the last couple left in the game, further demonstrating how smart of a player she is. This move was then brought up again in the next challenge to turn Delcatty and Blissey against each other. Not only did she make someone backstab their ally, but she then used it against them to try and get herself further in the game. Unfortunately, like all iconic villains, she was taken out just before the finale. Do I think she should have won? Well, duh. She overcame lots of obstacles and had to use her background as well as her various levels of influence in and out of the game to secure her safety. Unfortunately, the Robbed Goddess became lackluster as more seasons came on, but I will always remember her for the amazing moments she gave us in Mr. Pokeguy9's premiere season.
Alright then, Sunset told me to be here. Now what do I need to do? Interrogate an individual by the name of Ryden and buy Sunset a soda. I'm starting to think my mentor's lost the plot. Though I do remember a Ryden. In fact, I can recall my first encounter with the dude. Him and a Shedinja were acting all shady within the street with a huge duffel bag. As I came around to investigate, the two of them ran as soon as they saw me. I don't know, I guess guys in fake leather jackets look kinda creepy. I think Shedinja threw a sponge at me and talked about not wanting to join the Masters of Darkness, whatever the hell that means. The last I saw of him, the Shedinja dropped the duffel bag, which was full of meatloaf. I kinda just left the scene after the story dude started bellowing at the little guy about something. And that was the last I saw of him. That was until I bought this DVD box set of a show named Total Pokemon Dimensions from Amazon. Unfortunately, I was duped, ripped off. Because the DVD case I got only had the first 2 episodes. Damn, I'm really starting to distrust internet shopping. Even though I'll probably do it still because I don't like walking into public looking like this. Anyway, I've learned more about this Ryden fella through these clips. Guess I better talk about him.
Yay!
So, Ryden's quite interesting to me. Just like myself in the show I compete in, competition ain't his top priority. I've seen so many shows like this, where most of the contestants are just focused on the game, and nothing but that. I will go for several underhanded or downright devious tactics in order to just win a challenge or ensure someone's elimination. And sure, there ain't anything wrong with that, but sometimes you need time away from the game. A side plot if you will. Levi's TPI did this a few times within their show, and quite honestly, I enjoy them as much as any other plot, even the main bomber plot they've given. You can't be the one to call Ryden deep, strategical, anything like that honestly, but he's enjoyable, and ain't that the best thing you could ask for in a character? Yeah, it might just be me. Yeah, sure, there ain't much to say right now. After all, it's only been 2 episodes, and the spotlight on the two misses seems to be rather limited. But I'm actually sort of excited to see what these two could bring to the table later. With Ryden being like the father who takes no prisoners, and Shedinja being like the child with this certain childlike innocence to him. Each personality bouncing off of each other really well. And then there's Combi. He's dead. Anyway, might want to end it off here. Maybe I'll meet these two again. Hopefully I won't be sponged. So I must give a farewell to you for now.
Crap, I didn't think that would knock him out! Hey! Calm yourself down. We need to dispose of him quickly. I can already sense his dark energy emanating from him. It's giving us both British accents.
It is I, the second best editor in the TPI community. Get fucked, Pokemon Insanity. Here to provide you with the most minimal editing possible. I have an episode to work on, okay? Anyways, Pokemon Insanity. The show that I just said should get fucked. With a show as comedy-oriented as this, I think that hands down, Magmar is the show's best and most entertaining character. Not Froakie, although he's a close second. Not some other character I can't think of to emphasize my point. Magmar. First of all, I think his archetype is fucking genius. He's a strategist, but he's also a fucking idiot, leading to some great dialogue exchange between the people he interacts with. Also, I'm thoroughly convinced that his dumb strategy is gonna carry him down the line. Don't fucking at me. He also manages to sell most scenes he's in. My favorite of which being during the second challenge where he was locked up with Froakie and Pansage. What, you think I'm gonna display a clip of that? Get fucked. I'm on a time crunch, Buster. I also really enjoy his voice direction, which seems to be an amalgamation of Patrick Star and Aloda's voice. What the fuck did you think I was gonna say? Anyways, in short, Magmar is the best character in Pokemon Insanity. Not an opinion, it's a fact. Now go watch Total Pokemon Fuck You, you heathen!
Fancy a cuppa, or whatever the fuck people expect me to say. I'm Pidgeot, host Pokemon Survivor Gone Rogue, here to Alodahan's audience with a riveting, enchanting, spell-binding segment on why Delibird from Total Pokemon Cross Country is a compelling character. Let's hop right in. TPIs have had their fair share of character tropes and cliches, notorious examples being leader Bulbasaur and Nice Girl Eevee, and while certain Pokemon are usually destined for certain archetypes, there's one archetype that has never been specific to any Pokemon, being the classic Superfan, or Sierra stereotype. Delibird from Total Pokemon Cross Country is far and away the best contribution to this stereotype I've ever seen done. Delibird started the game excited as ever, even recognizing a few players who were considered celebrities in the show's canonicity. He didn't seem extraordinary to any degree imaginable, just your average Superfan. But that's when things changed. A small mystery was set up at the start of the pilot, being Shinx, a player supposed to join the show, mysteriously disappeared and was never able to claim a spot. While traveling to Millie Island in episode 5, Delibird seemed inexplicably nervous to venture through this island. In a brief scene with Shinx, it revealed that Delibird had stolen Shinx's spot on the show, with Delibird practically leaving it to die so he can fulfill his dream. It was not only a shocking moment, but perfectly encapsulates Delibird's sheer insanity and how devoted he was to wanting to compete. Even after this moment, Delibird has proven that he has learned from his crucial mistake, has demonstrated kindness, empathy, and remorse. An example of this is him saving his owner's life in episode 10. A star can only shine when it's surrounded by darkness, the metaphorical darkness being his guilt and internal grief. Delibird is a terrifying yet redeemed example of a TPI superfan. Lest your eyes deceive, Delibird is a clear-cut example of how deep you can dive into an otherwise unoriginal stereotype. He's a much-needed twist to a stereotype that is quite frankly overused and undeveloped. Thank you Dataran for giving us Delibird, a showstopper, a change of heart, lunacy turned into compassion, but most importantly, an amazing character.
So, Love is World Tour season, eh?
It looks fine.
Wasn't this better than that? But one constant that was always there was Absol. You see, this season had 36 villains. Laughable, who cares? Sorta cool, interesting at times, revealed too late, and absolutely beautiful!
Get it?
Over, let's run down the list. 1. His presence on the show. One quality I love in certain villains is that her presence can be so subtly put, but still have an amazing impact on everything in the story. And Absol does this so well, because he's usually reserved and kept to himself. It's more often that people come to him first. That's usually where he plants seeds of doubt, worry, anger, and vulnerability in them so effortlessly. It's great. Watching each contestant becoming more and more psychologically manipulated by him without being even a part of him that much is so fun and interesting to watch. Rather it be through Tropius constantly thinking about him and getting more and more deranged, to Shep becoming more susceptible to his poise and allowing herself to become more and more vulnerable. It's all so well written for someone who started like this.
The horror! We're not 21! What's 9 plus 10? 21?
And how relaxed and reserved he does makes it have such a threatening presence that TPI villains lack for me. To the point where I can get legit scared when he gets mean. Plus, he's able to keep his presence as a main antagonist so hidden, yet known to his victims, which makes his ability to go far in the game seem justified, unlike certain villains. He's also able to have foils around at all times as ways for him to become more and more vulnerable in the form of victims he manipulates, helping keep him more grounded and at the same level as everyone else. And the best part of all of this is watching his plans unfold. Because each way he manipulates everyone is kept different, it makes every elimination he helps coordinate so investing to watch. From thinking Doctor's Note to Tangrowth, to causing him to think he will die if he does a challenge, to causing Clampo to become an evolution she dreaded, causing her to slowly become a villain herself. It's all just so good. And then there's a comment between him and Shuppet. Now, when I call out his first part of the season being mediocre and Holiday Classic Who's the Bummer Part 2, I meant it. But somehow, he's able to craft an intricately written, brilliantly planned out, and investing as hell psychological romance with these two. Now, something you should know about me. I love psychological horror. Regular horror can go take a drop of shame, but I am all about that mental horror. Seeing someone go so far gone is so interesting and enticing for me, and this show does it very well with these two. For one, you have him placing these doubts and hiding her insecurities. The way he speaks to her, always saying these subtle threats while being so cunning about it. Oh my god, it's so good! And the slow descension of both of their psyches as both of them keep one-upping each other, with Absol always causing Shuppet to doubt her own self-worth more and more, and with Shuppet realizing Absol's true intentions in cunning ways, causing him to become more and more vulnerable. But even with that, he's able to effortlessly one-up her every time in terms of competency and intellectually, and it's so compelling to watch. It's such a great antagonist. So overall, amazing character, loving the pieces, still not better than Heatmore.
Hey! So you know that Drapion from Game Changers? Yeah, he's my favorite character of any TPI. But why, you dumbass 14-year-old? Explain! Well, I'll tell you. It's because I don't actually like characters with complex stories, good arcs, or just good characters in general. I want old people. He's also the funniest character made. Period. His delivery makes him the best, which is extra surprising because the old guy comic relief shtick is not exactly a new concept, but Heavenly Heracross makes it work because matched with the general fantastic comedy of Game Changers and an old guy as comic relief is probably the greatest combo I've ever seen.
Glammy, I'm dying! I'm kicking the bucket! I'm choking the chicken! I'm flicking the bean! I'm spanking the monkey! I'm just straight up masturbating over here, Glammeow! For real though, I am dying! This is fucking bullshit! Turn off the camera! I don't deserve to die! I still have some life left in me!
But it's not just his comedy, despite the fact that that's a really big strong suit. His relationship with Wheels is a legitimately good character arc, and it only lasts for like one episode, and it already has given him a lot more depth. Legitimately excited to see what's gonna happen to him next. Anyway, this was my TED Talk on why old people don't deserve rights.
What the hell is that?
Alrighty, another day of doing nothing on vacation. Oh no! I forgot to record! Hello everyone, this is Bolivia with a very scripted and well-rehearsed segment for the 12 days of TPI countdown for my top 10 favorite characters, as well as everyone else's. As you can tell, I've prepared very long and very hard for this day. I'm excited to share with you all my character, which is Murkrow from Guild's PP Dead, also known as Polka Pandemonium Doggy Dog. Murkrow is a very, how do I put this, honest villain archetype, which to me is something that hasn't really been brought to a TPI. It's like the duelist, basically. Well, now obviously Murkrow isn't challenging people with like a sword and all that jazz, but they're doing some cool stuff either way. I think the best scene that characterizes them is the one when they're introduced. When Xatu talks about being able to see the future with the tarot cards, she immediately says, "That's unfair." I think that Murkrow is very cool because they're a character that values fairness, and in a game that's a lot of times based on chance, such as Survivor, I think that's a very interesting dynamic. I can't wait till she just gets furious at how the cards, haha, are dealt. In a similar fashion to earlier discussed, I'd like to call to y'all's attention another cool scene that characterizes Murkrow, and that's when she's playing cards with Skarmory in the second episode. They discuss if they're gonna do Magcargo or Absol for the vote, and Skarmory talks about how she wants to be in Murkrow's shadow. Now, I think what's really cool about Murkrow is that despite the fact that Skarmory is saying that she wants to be in Murkrow's shadow, that Murkrow's in the position where she's the right-hand woman to Skarmory in this position, because Skarmory's already stated they're fine with siding with Aerodactyl, but they didn't, so very villainous move. But Murkrow never really talked with Aerodactyl, so she kind of flew under the radar for that vote. In a similar vein, in the discussion with Wailord, Skarmory was not really trusting of him, while Murkrow more was. And Murkrow also says right after that she thinks the vote is the most important thing of this game, and that she values villainy. I think that's really cool for a character. Someone who seems so honest and, like, honestly pretty endearing, values villainy and wants to control the game, and I think the exact wording is, want to prevent other people from playing. So, as it stands, we only have 2 episodes of PP Dead, the most flaccid TPI of all time. But I'm really excited to see what Murkrow does next. I think she bounces really well off of Skarmory. I think she's flying under the radar at the moment. I definitely think we have a lot of Murkrow left on our screens, as there's a lot of characters that, frankly, are gonna go soon. But yeah, that's it about Murkrow. She's a sick character. Thank you, Guild, for creating her, and sorry for the total last-minute-ness of this kind of segment. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. Peace.
K-Pasta, you freaks and geeks and one-eyed pimps. It's me, the community's collective mind goblin, and I'm here talking about fucking Abandoned. Abandoned's a pretty divisive show, I know. It's got its lovers and it's got its haters. As for me, despite its faults, I really like Abandoned. Its production value is fucking god tier. And honestly, I kinda like the long episodes. When it comes to the characters though, yeah, I get the hate. Now that's not to say Abandoned's characters are bad. No, not at all, they're really good. They're just really polarizing. Like on the one hand, you got characters like Hitmonlee, Grovyle, Munchlax, Fletchinder, fucking Mailbox King Corphish. But on the other hand, that sort of dichotomy between which characters are really good and which ones are fucking doo-doo garbage is I think why Duat sticks out so much to me. Because by all means, Duat should be in the trash tier. I mean, come on, he's an uber-competitive, vaguely abusive, smarmy villain. Not to mention he's British, my man was designed to be hated. The thing that really stops me from hating him, though, is his major plot in Abandoned. See, Duat's major plot is this big ol' love triangle between him, Manectric, and Flaffy. Duat's the antagonist in this. He's meant to be like the big old douchebag Giga Chad that'll steal the girl away from the hero Manectric. You know, like typical rom-com movie villain type shit. You know the vibes. The way this differs from one of those movies though is the two heroes, Manectric and Flaffy, I fucking despise them. They are trash tier. So whenever Duat calls out Manectric for being like an uber incel, or calls out Flaffy for stringing him along literally the whole show, even though the camera presents his actions as wrong, because I agree with him, and I hate the characters he hates, I'm in the corner yelling, "Yeah, you fucking tell him!" All in all, I'm a big fan of Duat, largely because of Schadenfreude. It's always fun when a fictional character hates the same characters you do, and having them be a villain, even better. Plus, it also really helps that Duat is insanely fun to watch at work, too. He does his job as a smarmy villain ridiculously well. Like, to the point that I kind of feel bad for rooting for him as much as I do. Besides, anyone who can pull off a 5-4 to 2-1 vote split deserves their own spot on this list in my books, no questions asked.
Number 2. Don't let chills fool you. Tropius from Pokepandemonium may be one of my favorite characters from Guildmaster, but my heart belongs to Levi's Fuel from Total Pokemon Action. Sorry, meant to say Spaheel.
How come your name isn't Sapahil? Matrix!
Dumb characters are something I have a soft spot for because the best written ones tend to have something that make up for their obvious drawbacks. The most common thing being the fact that they have a heart of gold, and that can use some wholesomeness in my life. These dumb characters commonly get other contestants to lift up their shields and they build close friendships with them. A great example being Cincino from Abandoned. Munchlax's strategy in the game was to combine forces with the other intelligent characters who dominate the game. But he later loses his allies and his reputation goes down the shitter for sabotaging Swellow. After all this, Cincino is the only one that stays with him. And sadly, Munchlax didn't see it as enough and thought his time on the game is over due to Cincino's intelligence. It was only until later that he really started to appreciate her, and it leads to my favorite friendship in the whole season. In Spheel's case, it was Octillery in episode 22. With all the stuff going on in Fish Cache and all Mola, the threat she received on the mirror, getting targeted for being a threat, and the whole sickness, I think she needed a morale booster, and it all led to some of my favorite Sphere moments, like him revealing to Octillery that he wants to marry Magby. It doesn't register in Spheel's head that he's too young to marry because he's so sweet and innocent. It's just a very cute and wholesome moment. Speaking of Sphere and Magby, they are hands down my favorite couple in all of TPI. The moment where Sphere first takes Magby to his special tree gives me so much feels and chills. That's honestly a top 5 TPI moment for me. Hands down, Sphere said poetry, which was the smartest moments. I swear, when it comes to dumb characters talking about their feelings, they just go off. It totally sold me on them being a couple. There's also the moments where Sphere and Magby help Wish catch me all Mola because they wanted to double date. And let's not think about the iconic scene in episode 23 where they go on Family Feud. I straight up never laughed so hard in the TPI. I also love the relationship between Heatmo and Sphere. they are total opposites and they just work so well.
Put the used band-aid down. What? Sorry, it's feeling Magby. Spiel, put it down. Down. Oh my gosh, I swear, we should have stopped. One kid was already a handful.
And to top this all off, the icing on the cake is all the extra animations Levi did for Spiel. All in all, Levi's action season is my favorite TPI, and it's a shame it never finished. I only found out about the show this year, and it's been the highlight. It's crazy how a character as simple as Spiel can be dissected just like his more plot-heavy characters like Mawile and Groudle. And with that, I take my leave.
Hey there everyone, Aiden Care aka The Crazy Chandelure here, bringing you my segment for this weird Frankenstein-esque favorites list we've put together. I hope you've enjoyed the video so far, and I hope you enjoy everyone else's segments on the video, as well as the 12 Days project as a whole. It was really fun to work with everyone on this, and I hope you've enjoyed the entire series as it's gone on. With that being said, I've only got a few minutes, so let's talk about my favorite character from Gliscor Games show, Bulbasaur. Now, the reason that Bulbasaur is my favorite out of Gliscor's cast is simply because he's a subversion of the leader Bulbasaur archetype. For those that don't know, the leader Bulbasaur archetype is when a starter, usually a Bulbasaur, gets treated as the team's leader. He's the one in charge, he gets put in charge very early on, everyone really likes him, or likes her. Just a very light character that's the moral good guy, always has a big alliance, and always makes it super far. And Gliscor subverts this not by doing the exact opposite, but he actually subverts it by playing into it. Bulbasaur is the leader of his team, he is the one that asserts himself as a leader very early on, but everyone hates him for it. Everyone finds him annoying, his plans don't work out, and everyone aside from Torkoal on his team hates him. He gets a majority alliance, but not because people respect or trust him, but everyone is only keeping him around because he'd be an easy extra vote to use. And I think this works really well because it's funny to watch Bulbasaur try and take charge and lead his team, then everyone just ignores, dismisses, and insults him. And that's the point, he's meant to be the butt of everyone's jokes. He's also super paranoid as well, constantly worrying about losing his power and being betrayed, when he's had no control and no one truly on his side to begin with, which is a good use of comedic irony right there. Plus, Gliscor also sets up more plot for Bulbasaur, aside from just being a joke, which is what you should do whenever you have a joke character get further into the game, but regardless. So he has Bulbasaur get involved in a plot with Cyndaquil, where Cyndaquil tries to pull a Hugh Jackman and the other side him into turning on his team and becoming an antagonist. For the moment, Bulbasaur rejects Cyndaquil's reality and substitute his own like the absolute unit he is, but I do feel that later on in the game he will eventually make a heel turn and will become one of the major antagonists for the game after the whole Pawniard situation is dealt with. Overall, Bulbasaur is arrogant, overconfident, and a paranoid idiot, and I love him.